Hey, hey, hey. All right, that's my Fat Albert impersonation. Hey, it's the Big Canucker here, coming at you with another knife review. And this is one that is an extremely polarizing knife in my arsenal, and I think in my mind too as well. It is the Spyderco Large Lum Chinese folder, and it was pink, but I actually kind of made it into my Brett the Hitman Heart edition with some black dye, and I kind of like the way it turned out. And I have to say that this is a really great designed knife, designed by a gentleman by the name of Bob Lum, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but a pioneer in the knife design in the knife community, who had some absolutely wonderful knives out there. Now this is, I do believe this is created after a Chinese working knife. And it wasn't a folding knife. It was basically kind of a fixed blade knife with a little bit of a positive angle. So you had that kind of that cutting angle. You've got a really broad, thin behind the edge, leaf-shaped blade with a nice belly on it. So it does do some wicked cutting tasks. I mean, this is a really excellent slicing knife. And I apologize that she's looking pretty fingerprinted up, but yeah. So let's kind of go over the specs on this a little bit more. But before we do that, let's go a little bit of size comparison. Of course, we've got the Big Daddy, the Paramilitary 2. You can see you're very similar in blade, in handle size, but your Chinese folder here, your Bob Lum, is a little bit longer blade. And then, of course, we've got one more knife here, which is the little Dragonfly 2. And you can see that the Chinese, the Bob Lum here, absolutely dwarfs this this little Dragonfly 2. You can see that it's actually kind of a really large knife. All right, so overall length is 8.56 inches long with a blade length of 3.75 inches, so it's sub 4 inches. I really like that kind of 3.5 inches. Seems to be the sweet spot for everyday carry, but this extra 1/4 of an inch, I don't mind that at all here. I think it really opens up a little bit more avenues as far as EDC ability than I think a 1/4 inch, than you would think that it would. I think I might change my mind to have, I think 3 3/4 seems to be probably the best kind of EDC size in my mind. Now, after kind of going over this knife for some time. Now, the cutting edge is 3.44 inches, which is 3.5. And of course, your blade thickness is 0.13, which is just a smidge over 3 millimeters. So, you know, the blade stock here, you can see that it's got kind of a switch cut into the top, so it looks like it's thinner than it actually is. It is, I'm not gonna say it's an overly thick knife at all, but it does have some, 3 millimeter steel. It gives you toughness as well as good slicing ability. Now it's a drop point with a fully flat ground blade, satin finish, and your handle length is 5 inches long, which is, more than enough to fit my big hands, and I've got extra large hands. I don't think I'm double XL, but I'm extra large hands, and I've got lots of room on either side when I hold this knife together. G10, now it's pink, but mine is actually pink and black, so it's like I said, my Bret Hart edition. Now weight is 4.3 ounces, which is, right in there, sub 5 ounces. It's heavy enough that that you've got a good solid tool, but it's still light enough that it's going to disappear inside your pocket. And there is quite a bit of blade sticking out of here, maybe a little bit of a knock. When you do stick it inside your pocket, it is taking up lots of pocket space, but there's no sharp edges for you to really kind of get anything snagged on. So when you do stick your hand inside your pocket, you're not going to get hung up too bad. So, it may kind of negate itself out. I didn't notice that it was I didn't notice that it was really uncomfortable to put my hand in my pocket to reach for my wallet when I had this in my front pocket. Didn't bother me at all. So, of course, you've got the Spyderco spoon clip here, and it is 4-way. tip up, tip down, left or right hand carry. So it is the 4-position clip. Now, of course, you've got the thumb hole with the liner lock, and you can see that you've got the G10 with some skeletonized stainless steel liners in the center. And so, I mean, it's well built, it's solid, but it's also light enough that if you had to carry it around all day, it's not going to be a bother at all. Now, I'm going to say I'm going to give this knife probably a 6 out of 10. And the biggest knock for me is the VG10 steel. Now, this was built in Seiki City, Japan. And Seiki City, Japan has got excellent fit and finish, excellent build quality. Their knives come out of there. They're extremely nice. But the VG10, I don't know, it just... I think you'd be better off with D2 steel in here. The VG10 just does not have the great edge holding ability. And I'm sure that like a VG10 knife is not the end of the world, but it just, if I had to knock Spyderco a little bit, it's going to be the fact that they're asking premium money for these types of knives, and I don't think they're delivering a premium steel. And I'm really, really sorry to say that there's Sal and Eric, but please, the VG10. If you're going to use VG10, do it on, say, the Tenacious, stuff like that, not on this Bob Lum, because this is a wonderfully designed blade. The fit and finish is excellent. It's coming out of Japan. Put ZDP 189. If you're going to put a Japanese steel in here, because VG10 is a steel that was designed for the cutlery industry, it's designed to have, on chef's knives. And when you're talking about VG10 in a chef's knife, you're talking about premium prices then. But I think if you're going to be using this knife to break down a whole schlockload of cardboard boxes, I would feel more comfortable with ZDP 189 for this too as well. Now this knife here is discontinued, and because it was pink, I probably got a really, really good deal on this. I paid $79 for this knife, brand new, out of I can't remember where I got this from, Blade HQ. I think that might have been where it was, but I ended up I've had this for about 3 years now. So I just dyed it black, and I like the look of it between the black and the pink, and it just immediately reminded me of Bret the Hitman Hart. But anyways, yeah, I would feel better if this had a ZDP 189 on it. Bob Lum, I think, was a genius, because this is an excellent, well-designed knife. It is comfortable, it's got great cutting ability, and it's just, the steel kind of just leaves it down just a little bit. All right, so that is my opinion on this knife. I sure hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me the thumbs up and please give me the subscription and help me spread my voice. I appreciate it so much, guys. You guys would not believe it, how much I appreciate your support out there. Now, if you are out and about, please, please stay safe, because we're not out of the woods yet. Listen to those experts, and keep your stick on the ice, the shiny side up. This is the Big Canucker saying adios.